Just make sure all of your microphones are on. I think you are, but make sure everybody can hear us that wants to. So, first on the agenda this morning, we have our minutes. I assume that everybody's had an opportunity to look over those. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made? Hearing none, we will accept those as presented. First on the agenda this morning, or first item of business this morning, is opening of bids for a 2020 heavy-duty dump truck. We have one bid. Is that what we have, Chris?
Yes.
It is still sealed. It's from Vomac Truck Sales and Service, Evansville, Indiana. Vomac Truck Sales and Service Incorporated, 10,000 State Highway 57, Evansville, Indiana. Prepared for Union County Fiscal Court, 100 West Main Street, Morganfield, for a 2020 Mack Granite Triaxle with specifications attached according to bid specifications to be open August 27, 2019. Signed by Matthew Brown for a total of $151,250. Again, let me read that, $151,250. Do you recall how close that was? That's fairly close to our last year's price. I think we were at 146. Where were we last time? I think 149. 149. So I thought we were right under. So 151, 250. I would assume that we would want to take this under advisement and let our, certainly we'd have Rick and Jim look at these along with Mike, make sure all our bid specifications are made, and look forward to getting back at our next meeting. That is September 10th to award that if it all is in line.
I'll make a motion, we take this bid under advisement and award it September 10th for our next meeting.
Second.
Any discussion, any questions for our representative from Vomac is here today?
I'm just surprised we'd only get one bid on a piece of equipment like that.
We had another call, but
Yeah, we were actually expecting one. Somebody called and asked for the bid packet, but I think we just had one bid last year, correct? Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for this bid. Thank you. Next on the agenda is we have road builders with us this morning. We have Cody and Byron. I'll let you introduce yourselves a little more officially, but the floor is yours. Stand up, and we probably would ask you to come up here,
Sure.
kind of by Rick with a microphone, and tell us what's going on. Tell us a little bit about you and all that good stuff. Good to
Well,
have you.
Byron Johnson with Road Builders. This is Cody Napier. He's also with Road Builders. We just want to introduce ourselves to the court. I know we put a bid in for y'all's in-place paving this time, which is something we've not done in the past. We've done a lot of paving in this area as far as Webster County, Hopkins, Muhlenberg, and that sort of thing. Actually, we're paving a state route right now in this county, 109. If you see the paving going on out there, that is us paving that. We're going to be starting the US 60 project next week, if the rain will allow us to get over there and get started. But we're going to be doing the big project that the cabinet has set up over there to get rid of the flooding issues. We're doing the blacktop and all the work on that too. So we've done a lot of work in this area. Just never have put in for the bid. Just wanted to tell you who we was, and we're a business that's been in here about 40 years in the paving industry. Done work all over this, KYTC, big projects everywhere. So we just never have been in Union County before on the in-place paving, but we're put a bid in. I think we was accepted by the court along with Rogers Group also. So we just like an opportunity. If y'all got some roads coming up, give us a chance to pave them and see what we can do. So, have any questions for us?
Well, actually, we do have some roads
Sure.
coming up in a minute, and just from a standpoint from the court, and I think I'm not gonna speak for them, but we all were concerned or had a question about the inflation clause in there. So where are we now?
Right now, we are basically the same as we was when we bid the job.
Okay.
So if we paid today, there would be no inflation whatsoever.
Okay.
And actually, I think Cody does this more than I do, so he looked at this, because we knew this was probably an issue, something the court hadn't looked at in the past. This could be in the court's favor, because if the oil prices drop, the price goes down. So the price, oil goes up. This adjustment is what the cabinet uses. This is a standard procedure they use for this, because if there is a terrorist attack, the price of oil can go really high. Normally it goes up in the summer, drops over the winter anyway, so, but he actually run some numbers on that. What would it have to go up to even, to bring it up to?
To Roger's number?
Yes.
It'd have to go up $76 a liquid ton, which hadn't done that in a while. It's actually come up a little bit, but it would, we don't know for sure exactly, the oil market, like you see the gas, gas goes up and down, but the same way with the oil market, so.
You all talking about fluctuating markets and all up, down, and all this stuff, you're gonna make me break out in sweat, getting me close to farming again.
Yeah.
So like
Thought I got away from that.
Yes.
the prices today, and we have these roads that we bid, I mean, we put out, and then let's say it's a month before you get them in, how far is this price out? How far is the price we're at right now? Is it for each month? or
What they do is they put out an index each month.
each month?
And if it doesn't change more than 5%, there is no
Yeah,
adjustment.
there's no adjustment.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's, only thing is, the cabinet run into this several years ago when the prices went sky high, when they went astronomically high. So they put this clause in there as an adjustment for that fact. And also, like I said, it works in the owner's favor sometimes, because when the price drops, your price goes down. So that's just it's a protection on both sides if the price moves up and down. So when you bid the job, if the price is way high, but when you pave, it's low, so your price should drop, and vice versa the other way.
Assuming, let's just, some hypotheticals,
Mhm.
September 1st, we tell you we want so many tons of blacktop, but you don't get to us until October 1st.
Right.
Are we locked on the September price or the October price?
Usually is when we pave it. Now, if the court wants to discuss that, we can do some things to talk about that if we need to, because once you give us that, you can say that's where our mark's at if you wanna do that.
Okay, I think we probably feel more
Yeah.
comfortable with that.
Yes.
Because we're not in control of when you can get here.
You're not in control of our
But
schedule?
we are in control of what the price.
Yes,
can
and we're
be,
not in
or
control of the rain,
will be,
so
yeah.
we'll all work together
Well,
on that.
you work
but-
that out with the
yes.
Lord about the rain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we're trying, so.
So like you said, if we say September 1st, we want this, so you could give us a roundabout.
We can tell you, what the index is right
I
then.
think you could tell us by when you would be here. or-
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, go from there.
Cody, how are your prices compared to when you submitted the bid right now?
Same.
They're exactly
the
the
same.
same. The oil prices are
Yeah,
the
it's
same.
It's exactly the same. It's
Okay.
not changed.
Okay, where's y'all's corporate headquarters?
Greenville.
Greenville
We
and
have- we have a
Muhlenberg?
plant and an office in Madisonville also, which they've been there for, I think they bought that in the late 80s, so we've been over there in Madisonville since then. And then the Greenville quarries over has been over there since the 50s.
Okay,
So we've got some black and white photos in the basement of back in the 50s, so we've
Okay.
been there a while, so.
What prices,
Okay.
that price would be considerable savings, right, Mike? What we based our,
I ran up the numbers this morning, $30,000 difference
Yeah, it'd be-
between the price they bid and price project.
It'll be about an 8% increase, so we could look at that, either saving 8% or we'd get 8% more blacktop, however we want to.
Yes, yes.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can figure a way to get us both, then we'll take it. But, any more questions for Road Builders Crew? Well, Cody and Byron, I appreciate, they had stopped in, a month ago.
Yeah, yes.
And, visited with me in the office, and I just wanted them to come, be in front of you guys and the court to, tell you all the same thing that they told me, basically. So, appreciate you coming in, and
Appreciate y'all having us.
and we're gonna get on some roads, and hopefully we'll see where we go from there, but we'll be in touch.
All right.
Just get us a list.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can,
Ready to go.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah. Oh,
Okay?
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, ladies.
And for the record, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're not gonna hurt anybody's feelings, I know you all are busy. and-
Oh, I sat through a bunch of these before.
Yeah, I know you have, and you
Yes.
probably sat through enough, that's what I'm
Yes,
telling you.
yes. Thank y'all.
Suit
Appreciate it.
yourself, suit yourself, thank you very much.
Another one already had to handle it.
Yeah. See you, Byron, thanks for coming in. Next we have on the agenda, the sheriff's office with the 2018 oil tax settlement. I have a record, or a letter to the Union County Fiscal Court members. I, Mickey Arnold, Sheriff of Union County, submit the following report for the collection of the 2018 oil tax. The 2018 oil tax was 97.68% collected. This report is submitted to the fiscal court for approval pending audit. Sincerely, Mickey Arnold, Union County Sheriff. Do we know how close we are to last year on that percentage? Do you know? Pretty much the same, I would assume it's probably pretty close every year. Okay. I'm assuming we're gonna have, let's put this in the form of a motion, then we can ask questions. How about that, to do this in proper order? I'd entertain a motion to, accept this report pending audit.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion made and second. Now, questions. Anybody have any questions for our fine crew across the hall?
Kathy, is there anything in particular we need to notice on this report that you would?
A lot of times, the oil report is combined with the property and the franchise, but oil was very late coming out this year, so that's why it's in the report on that. Got to collect it in July.
So the sheriff's office collects it for everybody? Everything comes through, or like state, county, school, library, health, extension? It all comes through your office, y'all's office?
And all of the mineral taxes are prepared in Frankfurt.
Okay.
All the records, all the ships and all of that is kept in Frankfurt.
On the penalties, is that late pay, or that's late pay?
Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting this report pending audit, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Thank you all. That was easy.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate your, what you do. Next on the agenda is a resolution designated the Union County Industrial Development Authority to receive TVA funds under the Regional Development Agency Assistance Program. This is one of Governor Bevan's initiatives to get more tax money back to the local area. And with Union County being a TVA county, we received amounts, I think last year, Melissa, help me, 75,000 last year?
Yes.
But it goes up this year.
I believe so. I haven't seen any official paperwork on what it's gonna go up to, but it was supposed to,
I think it goes to 150 this year.
that's what I was thinking too.
And we can bank those monies and be used for economic development, much like the industrial authority does for us now. And that's why each county has to have a designated account to run this through, and we already had that set up. It's a logical, we did this last year for the first one. I think we have to do it every year. And so we'll have some, we can save that money and bank it up for economic development, whatever that might be in the future. So we need that, and I'll read this. Adoption of a resolution of the Union County Fiscal Court designating the Union County Industrial Development Authority to receive TVA funds under the Regional Development Agency Assistance Program. Whereas Union County desires to promote and carry out economic development efforts on behalf of the residents of Union County. And whereas it is recognized that the Regional Development Agency Assistance Program funds available to the county pursuant to KRS Chapter 96 in 2018 Kentucky General Assembly House Bill 200 impose certain obligations and responsibilities upon the county and will require a designation of an industrial development authority and approval of the satisfactory application to be transmitted for DLG approval. Now be it therefore resolved this 27th day of August 2019 by the Union County Fiscal Court that the following industrial authority is designated to receive the Regional Development Agency Assistant Program funds. Name of IDA, Union County Industrial Development Authority, contact person Melissa Coker.
I move we adopt the resolution designating the Union County Industrial Development Authority to receive TVA funds under the Regional Development Agency Assistance Program,
And designate my signature.
and designating the signature of our county judge, Adam Onan.
Second?
I second all.
Okay, thank you. Questions, and one thing I will say, just that triggered me when I was reading that, approval of satisfactory application to be transmitted to DLG approval. This is handled much the same way as our coal severance projects. They have to be signed off and approved by DLG. We don't have to get concurrence letters from our legislators, but we still have to send that to DLG for their approval, Department of Local Government. So, just as a checks and balances, I want to make sure everybody was aware of that's how these funds will be dispersed. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. 2020 motor vehicle and watercraft property tax rate. It's that time of year that we received from the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Revenue Office of Property Valuation. Tax rate for 2019 was 11.3% and 11.3 cents. I said that wrong. 11.3 cents per hundred of assessed value, and we need to set that rate again. And I would assume we would like to keep that the same.
I'll make a motion, we leave the tax rate on the motor vehicle and watercraft property at 11.3%, the same, or 11.3 cents, the same as last year's.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Man, we're clipping right along this morning.
Slow down.
Number 6, roads to be paved with flex funds. We have approximately $204,000 worth of flex funds available to us in the county, and the magistrates have all been out with Mike Smead, our road foreman, traveled the roads, and they've come up with a list, and this is kind of a wish list. What we're going to turn in is our wish list of roads to be gone over by Nick Stallings from the District 2 office out of Madisonville, and then he approves, and then it goes to the state for final approval. But once he approves, we have pretty good luck with the state once he does that. Correct, Mike? I think that's pretty much just a final step. But we want to be a little quicker than we were last year to be in line. We have people ready to do some blacktopping, and we're going to send this up. In fact, I'm going to call Nick right after the meeting and see if I can arrange for he and Mike to get together soon so they can come on and get this process started. If we're not careful, it'll get drug out. And if you remember, some of the new court members may not know we had to roll some into this year because we got too late for curing in the wintertime, and we did some spring blacktopping, which is not a bad thing, but we want to go on and get these done if we can, and I think we're in good shape. So I'm just going to go through and read these roads, and then we'll entertain a motion to approve these as in total, and then we can talk about them if you'd like. But and just because we approve these doesn't mean that we're going to get them. So that's where we are right now. District number 1, CC Camp Road, section of 3 sections of Tina Wagner Road, section of Jim Beach Road, and 7 Gums Road. District 2, Calvary Church Road, B.T. Crawley Road, Uniontown Road, Pikes Peak, Hilltop, and Heights Speece Road. District number 3, Blue Road, 1 section of Blue Road. And the reason there's not much on District 3, I'll just jump in and say District 3 was the beneficiary of most of those discretionary funds, and in discussions with Magistrate Ricketts he would like for his flex funds to be divided among the other folks, and so that's the way we're gonna do that, moving forward. He only has one, and, number 4, District 4, Master Burns, 2 sections of Ben Dyer Road, 1 section of William Ball Road. District 5, Yancey Greenville Road, 2 sections on Barker Road, and 2 sections on House Bridge Road. I would entertain a motion to approve this preliminary list of flex funds for our request.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second, now discussion. Anybody have any discussion?
A little bit different, we got quite a few more roads on here than we normally do, when in the past, we've had some not get approved, and we had to come back in court, bring another list, and come back down here, so we've got more on the list, so if the top is not approved, they'll go to the next few, and hopefully we'll have to come back the second time. That way,
That's why I thought.
And to be
sounds
clear,
good on paper.
we were a little bit frustrated with the District 2 last year about this process and the cumbersome nature of it and how long it took to get this approved. And this was their recommendation to cure that.
That was their recommendation.
Yeah, so that's why we have this, and
Because it was very frustrating.
it was. And we also have some road bond money that's available. If some of these aren't approved necessarily by District 2, but they still need to be in the eyes of our magistrate and our road foreman, those road bond monies don't go through the District 2 office. They've been approved to us 6 years ago.
And they need to be spent.
Okay.
Because we're paying interest on it even though we're not using it.
Okay. So there'll be some of those that's gonna be used out of that road bond, and it's not a terribly large amount for anybody. And so we may get to do a lot of these roads. We'll just see, and if we've got a company ready to do it, and that'll be the discretion of the magistrates, and that will come back to the court for information when we do that, but that's kinda how this whole process is going right now. So, any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. If we could only just get them all, that'd be nice.
That'd be good.
See. Item number 7, claims. Let's see, Magistrate Burns and County Attorney Julie Wallace, Jerry Floyd, and myself went over these all yesterday together. Had several of the department heads in, and I think we had 1 or 2 signatures, and anything else, I don't recall anything much.
I had a question about tax, but you told me
That had been deducted, yeah, they had, one company had charged us tax, but they had credited it back out, so I think everything's good. Were there any bills that should not, that don't need to be paid? Let the record show that the bills are to be paid. Next on the agenda, items 8, transfers. Pretty standard, Lisa?
Well, to some distinct, there's the money that we got, we locked in on, the CD for 7 months, 6 months. That's a big one, and the others are in savings, money markets, and a couple small CDs.
And we, to be clear and transparent, we sent out a request to all of our local banks that we do business with, requesting rate information, and then we awarded those to the highest quotes that I should say, I didn't mean to say bids, I said quotes.
Right, the interest rate.
Yeah, and so they're scattered around a couple, 2 or 3 different lending institutions here in the county. Just to try to take advantage of that while we had it. Very good. But they're still accessible to us most of those if we need them, and that the longest term we have is a 6 month.
Yes, the longest term I locked in because of rates dropping September.
Yeah.
It's high.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the transfer.
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Before we get to the roundtable, I have a couple of things. I'm gonna call on Sean and Melissa. You jump in here anytime if you want. Some really neat meetings have been going on over the past several weeks. We talked about it a little bit at our last court, but just a quick run-through about what's happening and where you're at, whoever wants to do that.
Yeah, I'll start, appreciate everybody that had participated, we've been working on the comprehensive plan, strategic initiatives. Thanks, everybody, helped be a part of that. They, like the judge said, they're very interesting, and it totally takes an effort of the people, and the more input, the better. This is a plan for our county, but strategic plan, items that we've identified for the next 5 years. I want to thank Melissa a lot, she has kept this thing organized. That's all hers, that's not, you know.
Not true.
But they went really well, we have one left, which is health, we're gonna probably try to schedule out here in the next week or two, but, you know, we had some tough discussions, good discussions, a lot of open discussions, and, I think it's gonna be a good plan. Melissa, you wanna add anything?
So far, every single session that we've had has went right at 2 hours, and we probably could have went another 2, to be real honest. Out of all of the sessions, we've got 4, I believe, are gonna meet again and have another meeting, a follow-up meeting after that. So, some amazing conversations have taken place in these sessions, and some great ideas have been brought out that will definitely bring up our county, you know. So we want to, from the bottom of our heart, thank every single person who has came. If anyone has any interest in joining us on these sessions that are continuing on, please let us know. And again, remember that the strategic plan, the comprehensive plan is gonna go to you all for review before we finalize it. So,
We're looking at June.
yeah, it's gonna be
and by
sometime
the end
into
of
the next
June.
year. We've gotta collect a lot of data before we.
One of the exercises that we go through in each one of these is a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's been really, trust me, from a guy that goes to a lot of meetings, these are really beneficial meetings. And to hear the ideas and the kind of raw honesty about where we are in some areas is refreshing. And so I have been really encouraged by them. This strategic plan will lay out a roadmap for Union County moving forward through 2025. And so that provides some continuity for us. That gives us something to kind of keep our eye on all the time, and kind of our true north, so to speak, about where we're heading. And it should keep us in that direction, and it should keep us from getting sidetracked and distracted. And so I'm really appreciative of certainly Sean and Melissa's efforts. The meetings have gone really well. They even have snacks for everybody, which is pretty cool. And, but all the people that have taken time out of their day, and some people are on more than one, to come to those meetings and to share their expertise. I have often said that I think any problem that Union County has, the answer is found in our people. And so it's been good to see that, people that have come up with some good ideas and some commitments to try to make us better, and that's what we're trying to do. So, you guys have anything?
I would like to take the opportunity to thank you too. It was a different 2 hours. I mean, we all attend a lot of meetings, and this was a different 2 hours. It was a fun 2 hours, and very informational. I mean, some of the ideas, I mean, really good. So, thank y'all both. And I know a lot of it might be more organized, would be,
Yeah.
It's Melissa, but
They'll do it.
I mean, it was very organized and
That makes it come together when you have somebody to work with.
really good.
Quite possibly the first meeting I've ever attended where a PowerPoint went off like it was supposed to.
Everything worked. We even used the old-fashioned board too.
Even the Iron Tech Center was good.
Everything
And
was
it so
perfect.
Great.
worked out that we just in the transition to use that.
It was perfect.
Yeah,
It was perfect.
and that room that we used is gonna be the one that's gonna be available for us to use
Yeah.
moving forward.
Great.
And I'll address that here in a minute.
Yeah, I'd like to echo Jerry's statements, that EMA meeting we had out there was awesome, so thank y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank y'all for participating.
And I'd like to apologize for not being there, but my wife said I had to take vacation, so, you know, I'm sorry.
We feel sorry for you on that boat.
Yeah, we're struggling, yeah. He was on a boat, so
We
he's
got
okay.
plenty left to do, Jim.
He's
Well,
really-
I'm willing to help, I'll tell you.
Good.
Thank
Uh,
you, it was very good.
I know Kim was concerned about Highway 60 being 4-lane, was no longer on the 6-year program. But I tried to explain best I could how the court said the funding's not available, so we went over to projects that there was funding available to get that done. But I assured her, I thought, for myself and the court, if that monies do become available, the court, I believe, would be glad to put Highway 60 back on.
Right, it's priority one.
Yeah, yeah,
They
but,
recommended us to do that too.
yeah, because they said
Not
y'all,
fair to keep putting it up here and if the money's not there.
The Highway 64 lane project has been on the road plan since 1979. It's not just a 6-year program, it's been on since 1979. And so that carrot's been dangled for quite a while. And so the new project priorities from the state have been that they took all of what I call the monopoly money. And it literally is. They have funds, they have all these projects set aside, but there are no funds designated to do them. And so since 1979, Highway 60 has been in the 4 or 6-year plan for 4-lane from Henderson. So far, since 1979, we've gotten approximately 1 mile accomplished. And when all that money that wasn't there was taken away, that's kind of confusing. Then all of those projects came off with them. So that's why they're not there right now. That's not to say that we, hopefully I agree with Joe. If money is available and I know there are some real efforts for tax reform, both on gas taxes and some maybe that will try to help raise revenues in the state of Kentucky. If that happens, then that would probably be more likely a reality to come back around. So anyway, that's where that stands. But again, thank you all for what you're doing and for all the good work and good efforts. Just as a follow-up, I'm glad you said something about the school board. That I know Julie has been working on that, and we have contacted Dr. Warren from the Henderson Community College to try to figure out where the disconnect is on getting a release for that lien. That's where we're at. Am I correct?
Yes.
And that is somewhere in Atlanta. We've tracked it down to Atlanta, and when we get that lien released, then we'll proceed on to accept that property. Right now, it's kind of in limbo about, I guess Henderson's still paying the bills and electric bills and all that stuff, but and adult ed is still using that facility, which is good. And we were able to use it, and it's a fantastic resource for us with that back door and all of it. It's going to be great. So, you know, when we get that release, then it'll come back to the court after, obviously after Julie looks over it and approves it, and then it'll come back to the court for court's approval and acceptance. And then we move forward on the next step and begin talking to the school district.
Yes, and I've already talked to Ms. Shepard and in the process of getting that survey.
Okay. And we have, I don't think we ever talked about it from a court standpoint, but Julie and I have let the school know that all of the attorney fees, all of the survey fees, all fees associated with this transfer are going to be absorbed by the school district, not the court. So that's going to be on them. I have a meeting this week regarding the sewer issue at Job Corps that I'll be attending, and we'll give you an update. As an update for when Amelia was here last week and the air packs of where we are with that, Congressman Comer has gotten involved in this process, and we'll have a conference call with the acting secretary of FEMA Friday to figure out what's going on. His representative from Washington, Sarah, called and wanted to know what the issues were and why we were in such a bind and all of that. And so she was appreciative of the context. They're going to talk to him about what happens if we don't know. They've given us now a September 30th announcement date, which is too late for us, but we've started the process. Can we still get reimbursement? Can we put off paying for them even if we get them? You know, some scenarios, if we were to be awarded this $204,000, $6,000, we have to forfeit it if we have to go on and move because of the timeliness. So I feel like he'll do us some good. I'm really appreciative of his efforts. and taking time to do that, and he has several of his staff working on that. Just want to also report, Master Ricketts brought up the new computer program that we budgeted for and purchased, and so Mike and Kim and Lissa and Crystal and myself have begun, and when I throw myself in there, I haven't sat in the class yet, but they have started the process where we're going to start with the road department, and we're going to be able to track work orders. We're going to be able to track inventory. We're going to be able to track a lot of things that happen at the magistrates. We're going to have a really interactive tool where you can report and you can see in real time how things are. If you have a ditch issue, you can see what's going on, and it's going to be a real asset and provide some accountability for us, and that's good. So it seemed overwhelming at first, but they've all been real troopers and jumped in, and they're working on spreadsheets and getting that. We're working with the online training instead of the $10,000 come see you training. So it may take us a little bit longer to get going, and we'll start, once we get that finished, we'll be able to add road inventories. We're going to build up as we go. We'll get into asset management of where all of our assets will be listed, and we can track those orders and what goes on through those. One of the things that came out in our strategic planning, we don't have a lot of inventory on some of our buildings and things of what's there. So we want to, this will be a big help for that. So I'm really excited for it, and it'll be good. And the ladies and everybody assures me it's going to be great once we get there. So I just wanted to brag on them and what they're doing. I think that's all I have today. So District 1, Master White.
Yeah, I'd just like to brag on our dog warden and Richie. We had an incident last week, had a lady get dog bit. They got there and showed up, and it was nothing but professional handling the situation, the dog. So hats off to them.
Master Floyd.
A couple things. I'd like to invite everybody out to the St. Agnes picnic, September 7th. Some of the best barbecue in the county. If you want to look at it. Thought it was a big time, big turnout. Hope for pretty weather. They told me about 3 weeks ago, they've been looking at forecasts. This is a month out, and they said, look, the weather looks good. And I was like, you can't predict this afternoon's weather. You're looking at a month ahead of time. So, we also have a big event at the Animal Control Shelter this weekend. A lot of great things, a lot of prizes, dog horses, microchipping, all kinds of good things going on. It's always been a really well-attended event. So, the weather looks really good for it. Thank Sean and Greg and the judge and Jessica and Krista and all the work on that grant. Hopefully get some dredging done that we got that in on time, and we just wait and see. That being last Friday.
It has been last Friday. I'm not sure when they're going down.
Quite good, I don't know.
Halloween.
Well, all we could do, Halloween. I think they put a lot of work in on that.
Quick.
I went and talked to the judge, he jumped right on it. I appreciate that. It could be a huge project for the county, for sure. And that is all I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything. You covered, you answered some of the questions I had.
Okay.
Back to the building transfers. And
Okay.
I'm excited about this computer program. I think it's gonna bring some efficiency in terms of cost savings back to the county. Excited about seeing that get moving forward.
Master Burns.
I'd still like to apologize for not being to their meetings, but I hope to get involved some here pretty soon. So, and I owe you something else anyway. I think I told you I was going to do some other things, and I didn't get it done either. So,
I'll hold you to it.
all right.
Master Clemens.
Let's see, Melissa, the meeting is at 3 today on the census. 3. Okay. Mike, I guess we're still spraying mosquitoes, right? Okay. Okay. There's a few spots in District 5. As soon as you can get there to mow them, they're getting pretty tall and laying over. I'd appreciate it. I've Adult Ed has contacted me, they don't wanna end up homeless in the transition, from the transition buildings or all that works out. And I assure them, the court will have a place for them, they will be a time frame there, they won't have a place to do their classes. Good. That's all I have.
Just wanna go back to Terry, talking about the dredging, that's a big project, and this FEMA will make that really reasonable for the county, basically in the $500,000 range, but in excess of $5 million worth of work. So we're turning, a relatively small investment, and so it will affect, we have several large businesses down there that rely on that area, CTV and, Riverview, and then also our folks that use or would like to use the boat dock, the one that's basically sitting on the ground right now, and that's gonna be a big help. And that will lead us, this is the first step that will lead us into a 404 mitigation project that we've already started some conversations about, that hopefully we can get something to get the Highland discharge out to the channel instead of dropping it right there where we have to do this, and the businesses have to do this every year. So by doing this first, this should show what we can save by going on with this project, and so it will require some Corps of Engineer work and Department of Fishing. It's gonna take a lot of people getting together, but it happened down at the Blackburn, and so there's no reason to think we can't get it again. So it would be a huge project, and it would be a long-term fix for the folks at Uniontown that are frustrated because of all the sand. And rightfully so. Well, I'm not saying it's mud. Sean flew his drone.
Still.
Yeah, flew the drone up over, and you can see it almost looks like ground from a high elevation, and then the channel is just green and.
Plain day,
Yeah.
From Highland all the way down to.
Yeah, it's striking.
There's a lot of money spent on those two.
Yeah, they spend close to $250,000 a year together, dredging, so, I mean, and then the court has to do this occasionally or yearly, so it depends on how often, So, this will be a good help, a good fix for us if we can get it, and we'll be, obviously, we've gone after these grants all we can, so, Sean and Mike and Melissa Harris is there, all hands on deck on this thing, Greg, and so they've jumped in and got some good work done fast.
So that's what I was thinking, it took everybody, doing all the work.
And our preliminary discussions with the folks up the chain have been really positive, so that's good.
Judge,
Yes,
do you have an update on the grain facility down around the Coven? I haven't.
Well, we're still looking for investors, so, there's been some ownership changes, and so that's not kicking off as quickly as they hoped to, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be taking grain this fall.
Okay, thank you.
Sean? Yeah, absolutely.
I know we, been, the Sturgis Levy project, I talked about it last week, did that out, it's been about a month ago, we opened it up, we're over budget, we went back and done a couple of them, and we're gonna open, this is the 5th of them, we're gonna open that up again today at 1 o'clock, hopefully this is it, we'll be able to, use them budget, get this project, awarded hopefully, so it's gonna kinda let the board know. Also, we're meeting with the architect after court today, and I'm thankful that he's prepared to set bid dates for the elevator project, so, those are good things. Just wanna let y'all know.
They'll be coming to the court soon, so then we'll see where we go with that.
Hopefully that levy project will get it today.
It's time, man.
Yeah, it's going to slip by. I feel like we should be able to get up the budget.
Good, very good, and Sean's done a lot of work there as well, so. It's been good. Anybody else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.